You see the title, The End of an Era, Mad Hoffa, my expert opinion, finally has come to an end. Why? I'll let you know after this. What's going on, folks? You know what it is. It's your boy Jay here with another video. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button for all notifications, man. Let's talk about it, man. So, Mad Hoffa, my expert opinion, it's one of the hottest news stories out there today in the hip-hop community. Let's talk about it, man. So, Mad Hoffa went on his YouTube page and made a video, The End of an Era. We talked about how he lost the barbershop. He lost the barbershop. And I'm thinking to myself, you got 1 million subscribers. Your episodes was booming. How did you lose it? You know what I'm saying? To me, when I think about it, I went back and, you know, sometimes you don't really watch the shows as much as you used to. Because I remember when my expert opinion first came out, I would say about 2 or 3 years ago, I used to watch every single episode. I watched every single episode. I was invested. It was something different. I mean, because at the time you had Drink Champs, you had, you know, Joe Budden, No Jumper, you had Vlad TV. But what Mad Hoffa had with my expert opinion was that feel like that, okay, you know how you go to the barbershop and you had those conversations with the fellas, you had those conversations with the homies at the barbershop, and y'all talk about different things. So basically what he did was he took a barbershop concept. He bought the homies, Heineken and SO, Bigger, and there's a couple other guys, Champ, all those guys, and brought a guest on, and it was like it clicked. It instantly clicked. And the reason why it clicked from the beginning was two things. Number one, when people watch the show, people watched it for the guests. People watched it for who was going to be on the show. Who is Mad Hoffa going to interview? Him and his co-host. Who are they going to interview? You know what I'm saying? You had Method Man. You had all the rappers. You had celebrities coming through. You had everybody coming through. So some of his most, some of his most watched videos, the 2 million views, the 3 million views, the 4 million view videos, were people at the time where he got those people on the show. Something was either going on in the world of hip hop or something was going on with those people. And instead of going to the other places, they would go to my expert opinion and talk about what they was going through or what was going on in that time. So basically, Mad Hoffa, he came up. The show was a success. It was a booming success. The episodes was coming out. They was coming out quick. They was coming out nice. They were coming out effective. And I think for the first couple of years, he couldn't do no wrong. He couldn't do no wrong. But as time went on, and I tell people this, crack started to show. The first crack is when his co-hosts, Heineken and SO, they left. And when they left, it was back and forth between Mad Hoffa and Heineken and SO, and they beefing and everything and all this stuff. And people were trying to take sides, because you think about it. Some people, they came for the guests. Some people came for Mad Hoffa, but some people came for SO and Heineken because they brought substance to the show. And then, when they leave, the beef threw some people off. Now, after Heineken and SO left, did the train stop moving? No, the train kept on moving. But another thing happened. A few months later, one of the stalwarts of the show, Bigger, he left. And when Bigger left, and he came out with a YouTube video, he talked about why he left. And it was kind of like the same thing with Heineken and SO. Like, they were like, well, we not getting paid for what we doing on the show. And then Mad Hoffa was like, I didn't sign no contracts and all these things. He was blaming everybody else. But yo, if you got Heineken and Esso, and then you got Bigger saying the same stuff, it starts to kind of, it's the thing starts to build up. Now, did it stop the train from going? No, but it did. Some people who were loyal fans, they kind of left. So then after that, Champ, another co-host, he came on after Heineken and Esso left. He left. And it's like, man, after Champ left, I was like, yo, what's going on, man? I'm like, that's when I kind of like, after Champ left, I was kind of like, I would watch it here and there, and, it was cool or whatever. But, that was one of the main things that I think slowed down the traction of the show, because you can't be revolving, having co-hosts keep on revolving co-hosts here and there. And, people get used to one person, they leave. They get used to another person, they leave. They get used to another person, they leave. The second thing, and I think this is real important for me. This is important for me because I think about this all the time. Now, when you think about my expert opinion, everybody knows that, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody knows Man Hoffa's the host. But I think what happened with Man Hoffa was he started, you know how somebody, the success starts to really, really get to them, and they start to feel themselves. And Man Hoffa started to feel himself. He started to feel himself like you was bigger than the show. Like, bruh, you're the host of the show, but people aren't coming to see you. Okay, your name is out there because you're a battle rapper. You're a pretty good battle rapper. You're a decent rapper. You're not a top 5 rapper. You're not like, like Nori. He had a great rap career and he just switched over to podcasting. You're a decent rapper. But at the end of the day, people didn't come for you. They came for the platform. You gave people a platform to talk. I remember the episode where you had Buckshot on. And I was like, man, I was thinking about Buckshot. I was like, man, and Buckshot was on the show, and I watched the episode, and I really enjoyed it. Smith & Wesson, he had Rockness Monster, he had people that I really rock with growing up as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Growing up as a kid, as a hip-hop fan. Those are the type of people that I like. You know what I'm saying? And I think when you don't make it about the guest, you start making it about yourself. That's what happens. And I think, and when because people can see it. People can see it. If people talk bad about Vlad, but the one thing about Vlad, if you watch a Vlad interview, Vlad, it's not really about Vlad. Vlad is just asking the questions. It's about the guest. It's about the guest you bring on. Vlad TV, you call him a culture vulture, but he's mastered that. I think with Man Hoffa, what he tried to do was he tried to parlay my expert opinion and try to, I heard another YouTuber say this. He tried to parlay his music on my expert opinion. Nobody really cared about Man Hoffa's music. People cared about my expert opinion. If you really wanted people to parlay, if you want to parlay your music, have a separate channel just for your music. Now I understand you want to promote your music, but there's a way of doing it. Like Joe Budden. If you look at Joe Budden has his last album. I think it's the little store at the bottom or whatever. He had his last album, the CDs, the album covers and all that. He had that at the bottom. You don't hear Joe Budden promoting his music. Joe Budden never promoted his music. But Man Hoffa, every time I go watch a Man Hoffa, my expert opinion full episode, I gotta listen to a goddamn Man Hoffa song before the episode come on. And that's another thing. People come to watch the interview. That's YouTube 101. YouTube 101 is you gotta get people interested in the first 30 seconds. If the first 30 seconds is you trying to promote some love rap song and not getting to the interview, I'm going to cut it off. Or, I got premium, so I could skip it. But what if that person doesn't have premium and he tries to skip through the rap song and the commercial come on? Then people going to click off. You may have a lot of people watching the video, but You know what I'm saying? You're not making as much money because people not watching the full video. They got to go through the rap song to watch the goddamn interview. Now, it was cool. You had the smack back rapper, smack back, that little 30-second hook. That was cool. I enjoyed that. But it was only like 10 seconds. You know what I'm saying? I can hear that. Okay, back, rapper, all that. I can listen to that for 10 seconds. But I can't listen to you having a preview of another rap song, and then you know what I'm saying? You bringing these other rappers on there, and you doing open mic performances and all that. Man, my expert opinion was about interviewing the hot artists, interviewing the hot hip hop content creators. That's what my expert opinion was about. And the sad thing is, man, Hoffa, I think what happened was, man, Hoffa thought, well, damn, you know, I got all these views. I can go ahead and do whatever I want now. But the problem is you have to look at your analytics. You gotta look at your analytics and say, man, what's going on? Why am I not getting 100,000 views? Why am I not getting 90,000 views on the video? If you go to Man Hoffa page, you ain't getting as many views as he did at first. You're not getting as many views as he did at first. And the problem is that, and I said this, man, when you do the members only thing and you put the full interview out for members only, but you have 1 million subscribers and only 90% of the people don't even become a member of the thing. I became a member of the Man Hoffa, my expert opinion thing, because I wanted to see the interviews. I said, I'll get my little $5 a month. It didn't matter to me. But then once all the interviews started becoming members only, it's like, yo, like, what the hell are you doing? Like, now, if it's something like, if you had like, okay, you had the full interview, but then you had like an extra 30 minutes that's the unedited version that for members only, or you had an extra 30 minutes that you know what I'm saying, behind the scenes and all that of the interview, with the interview and all that, and they taping and whatever, and that's for members only, that's something different. But to put the full interview on members only and then put clips out, who are you? You ain't Vlad, bruh. Vlad can do that because one thing Vlad did was Vlad had a platform for a long time, and even before Vlad did the members only thing, Vlad would put the full interview out. See, Man Hoffa thought, oh, I got 1 million subscribers, I could do what Vlad do. There's a science to how Vlad does it. And sometimes I get tired of Vlad. I don't watch all the videos from Vlad. But there's a science to how he does it. Now people will say, well, why can't Man Hoffa do it? Because Man Hoffa doesn't have the back, and he doesn't have the foundation yet. You got to have the foundation. And I think another thing, and you know, and this is something that is important, is that he said he lost the barbershop because he said that the man was racist. I said, Slim, the problem was, even if he was racist, if you was bringing in money, if you was bringing in the bread, if you bringing in the dough, he don't give a damn. The problem was the money wasn't coming in as much. I'm a content creator. I know how much money people can make off these videos. I know how much money he was making off those interviews. If the interview was an hour and 20 minutes long, and you had like 400,000 views, 500,000, man, you was making at least 10, 15, maybe 10, 15, 20 bands per interview. And if you broke the interview down, it's got the 30,000, 40,000 views, 50,000 views on the breakdowns, you made an extra 5 to 10 bands. So you made an excess of maybe about 40 or 50 bands or 60 bands per interview. He was raking in money. But see, when you have an ego, that's another thing. I think Man Hoffa's ego of being a rapper took over. Man Hoffa's not a journalist. Man Hoffa's still a rapper at heart. He's still a battle rapper at heart. He's still a hip-hop artist at heart. He's not a journalist. He's a hip-hop artist. He wants to get his music out there. And there's nothing wrong with that, bro. But you can't try to use that platform that was made for the guests to promote your music, because people are not gonna like your music. You gonna have some people that like your music, but the majority of the people didn't come for the music, they came for the interviews. And I think that's what man Hoffa forgot. You forgot that shit. And the sad thing is that people, a lot of people been talking about it. Just like Adam 22. Adam 22, the reason why Adam 22 and No Jumper went broke was because No Jumper and Adam 22 thought he can expand quicker than he's supposed to. He was making so much money during the pandemic, and then everything started to slow down, and he hired all these people, and the money, it got too expensive. That's the reason why No Jumper went broke. No Jumper was still getting decent views. The views started to slow down. The money started to slow down. When the money starts to slow down, sometimes you can't just overexpand. Sometimes you gotta put money in a stash for a rainy day. Now, people are asking me, do you think man Hoffa could save his channel? I mean, he could. A lot of people say, why don't you go to another barbershop? But he said, man, $7,000 a month to rent that space, it's a lot of money. That's a lot of bread. That's a lot of bread. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, can you do it in a basement or something? Like, find a studio and do it? I mean, you could set the studio up like the barbershop and do that. But I think honestly, when you think about it, like, man Hoffa done burned some bridges. I think also the whole thing with Fat Joe, when Fat Joe came on there and he said some controversial stuff, I think that turned some people behind. That turned some backs to some people's backs too. I think that did it too. Because when you bring on guests, you gotta know that some guests may say some controversial stuff. Some people gonna like it, some people not gonna like it. And people didn't like what Fat Joe said. That was another thing. That turned a lot of people off. And instead of man Hoffa challenging Fat Joe with what he said, he went along with it. You went along with it, and people didn't like that. That's another thing. And that's from man Hoffa not being a journalist. See, if you're a journalist or an interview like me, if I was in that chair, if I was in man Hoffa's chair, and Fat Joe would have said that, I'd have been like, yo, we gonna have a discussion about this. Then people would be like, well, hey, he ain't, what I'm saying, yeah, it's Fat Joe, but at the end of the day, if he wrong, he wrong. But what I'm saying, I don't think that was the key reason. I think over time, things started to snowball. And once you hit 1 million subscribers, it doesn't matter if you have 1 million subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, 60,000 subscribers, 50,000 subscribers. Yeah, you having 1 million subscribers YouTube will play favorites to your videos. But if your videos ain't cranking out like they used to, YouTube don't care if you got 1 million subscribers. Take it from a guy who does content. Some of my videos may hit 3,000. I got two channels. I got a channel with 600 subscribers, and I got a channel with 10,000 subscribers. My 10,000 subscriber channel, some of my videos do 1,000 views. Some of my videos do 3,000 views. So, I mean, it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. It's about the content you put out. And if more and more people not watching your content, and this is a lesson to people who do YouTube, if people not watching your content, the YouTube ain't gonna push it out. So, my opinion is that there were a bunch of things that happened with man Hoffa, and honestly, I hope he can find a way to get back on track. Maybe he decides, but this is it for it. My expert opinion. I got the gold plaque or whatever. Maybe it ran its course. And sometimes things like this do run its course. And when things like this run its course, sometimes you have to evolve. evolve with the times. You know, people talk about Joe Budden. I said, but Joe Budden been doing this shit for like about almost 10 years. 10 years now. Vlad been doing it for years. And also, you know, when you get success really quick, that's another thing. You get success pretty quick, you think you indestructible. That's why I tell people, man, that the slow grind is the best grind. But, you know, I hope, you know, man, Hoffa gets back on his feet or whatever. I hope my expert opinion stays on. But, hey, let me know what you think in the comments, man. You think, man, Hoffa did it to himself? Let me know. Until next time, I'm out.